It is
Well,
5.
maybe it was.
It is 5 o'clock. Oh,
Yeah.
before we start, I'm going to be armed this evening.
Official.
Yes.
Am I in your scope here?
It's got to rein people in.
Yes, it is. It is 5 o'clock or thereabouts. So I'd like to call the May 14th, 2024 Commissioners Meeting to order. Let's start with Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we do have a meeting minutes to approve. So I'll need a motion there. This is the April 30th minutes.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Payroll and AP manifest. We have a few of those in front of us. A motion, please.
Make a motion to approve the payroll manifest before us.
All those in favor there?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, approved. New business, overview of district budgeting process.
So Jason and I thought mainly for Stephanie's benefit that we would just go over a little bit about what we plan to do, what we have done in the past. What we get out of the MTS system are basically budget worksheets that Jason and I are the first ones to look through. Jason meets with his staff, I meet with my staff, and basically I fill in the items that are administrative, and Jason tends to do the things that are operational. I don't know if you want to pass those to Stephanie just so you can see. We work through that process usually beginning around October into November. We try to have it kind of summed up in early December to get ready for setting our hearing dates. Jason and I will also present you folks with like a spreadsheet form of the same, but with notes, because it's just easier to get the notes onto the, so it'll give you updates as to, you know, what COLA is for that year, or why we changed something one way or the other. That gives you some additional information. And during that same time, we generally will be working up the warrant, which will be for any items that would go before the voters by warrant. Anything that's $100,000 or more, we do have to have a budget hearing on, a special hearing on, and the whole budget does need at least one hearing. There's dates that we have to set each year, there's parameters of when you have to have them. So that's an example of what we do. So we just
So very similar to what the town does, but
probably very
right.
similar to
Yep.
what the town does.
And
We're under pretty
same
much
schedule.
the same rules.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks similar. This anyways looks similar to the school board too.
Okay.
Right, this is great to see. Can I keep these?
Of course.
So that I
They're
can like
extras.
look
Yep.
through them.
There's my notes all over them, but
Yeah.
those are extra copies just that we worked with.
That will just help me to get familiar with it.
Yep. I don't know, do you have anything to add, Jason, as far as the budgeting?
No, I don't think so. Just we try to track what we spend on an annual basis and look back at that. But there are things changing, like regulations and costs of chemicals and things of that nature that will drive costs, year over year. So we do see some fluctuations in that. In the last 3 or 4 years, we have seen things exponentially increase. So we try to maintain a 2 to 5% increase of the O&M portion of the budget every year to try to contain costs the best we can.
Yeah.
Hey, do we have to allocate for all the projects? If you think that it's going to be a $5 million project, you have to have a line item that they authorize you to take that money in, to put that money out?
Not if they're funded by other sources of funding, other than the operation budget. So if it's a capital outlay item, I believe we would have to include
We
that.
first have to have a warrant article
Right.
by the voters.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
But then you don't have to carry it in your operations budget.
Oh, you don't?
You do not,
okay.
no.
Yeah.
No.
But the commissioners are agents to expend from any of the trust funds, so we can expend through those throughout the year. There's no need for a budget line for that.
Yeah.
Items covered in those reserve accounts. But if it was an outlay directly derived from impacts to revenue, that would have to be a line on there. Yeah.
Good.
And I guess historically, we've done a lot in the past couple of years of simplifying things, you know,
Right.
at least as far as capital accounts and try to make things a lot more readable, certainly easier than it was.
Understandable.
Understandable.
Why is the sewer and the water separate? I can remember
Two
that.
different enterprise funds. The auditors could probably explain it much better to you, but the water was formed by a legislative act back in the 1800s, and the sewer didn't come into play until the 1960s, I believe. And so they were formed two different ways, and those are the rules. You have to keep them completely separate.
And it's fun.
It
Try to
is.
keep
It makes,
It's confusing.
it makes everything
yeah,
more
is
complicated.
there-
Very complicated.
So, I mean, if one of the things that maybe would be on a 5-year range to explore, putting the two of those together. And, you know,
The law
then you
doesn't
wouldn't
allow
have
us
to
to.
do all of
The
that.
law doesn't
I do
allow
not
us to.
believe-
Oh, it doesn't allow, I
Doesn't
thought so.
No.
I thought I had heard that.
Yeah.
Well, good.
So we're kind of stuck with the system that we have, but
Yeah.
we do the best we can.
Okay.
And it makes our accounting system very cumbersome, and the software that we use, we have to make certain arrangements to make things different to work with the two, so it's,
Oh, so it's not clear.
we're very grateful for
Two
the
different-
staff that we have, for them being able to do the job they do.
It's not just two different spreadsheets or what?
It
With
is,
the
but
software.
money comes in, when you get, somebody pays their bill, a certain portion is this, a certain portion is that, so it
Right.
has to be
Yeah.
allocated.
It's not a 50-50 split
Is it-
generally.
Yeah,
The
that's
water
what's
and the meter
confusing.
on one side,
Oh,
you know,
I
other
see.
charges, maybe sewer
Yeah.
or other. So
Yeah.
it's,
And they're two separate accounts.
that's right.
Yes.
So balancing that and cross-checking.
Accurately,
Yeah.
yes.
It's hard,
It's hard
that's
enough
hard.
doing it in one account.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Where we
Um,
speak of the due tos and due froms, and that's the most complicated thing, and there's, you know, sometimes you use their magic wand in order for them to do the due tos, and sometimes you have to just know, like, which way you're debiting and crediting, and so. We're learning as we go.
That's the third time I've heard this new term to me, the do-tos.
The due tos, the due froms, yeah, because everything
great.
actually comes out in the accounting system of the water side, which unfortunately is the smaller
Entity?
fund.
Oh.
So I would have liked it if it was set up originally the other way, because the sewer always has more money in it. But, so the due tos and the due froms have to shift all this money kind of miraculously behind the scenes.
And due tos and due froms are because credits and debits can be both ways. And if
Yeah,
you're doing
sure.
double entry accounting,
Yeah.
a debit can be a credit, depending which side of the ledger you're
Yeah,
on.
that's
So
right.
it gets very
So
confusing.
that's what you've
That's
got.
right.
Yeah.
So you sit there studying going, this is a debit, this is a credit.
That's right.
Yeah, into which account?
I see, that is difficult.
Okay.
So if we've covered that, we can move on to other matters. It's like in old business, a couple of issues that Commissioner McLaughlin has wanted to bring up, so I'll let you take the,
Oh, wait a minute, did we?
Take that helm here.
Wait, I lost my, what do you call it, my menu here. Are you two of them down there, Bill?
I can get you one.
No.
Your agenda?
Yeah, the agenda.
You can have mine, I
I
can
can't
look on.
believe it.
Oh, I'm
You
sorry. I
had
could
it
share
listed
that.
here. Oh,
That's
okay, I can talk about this stuff. So, I gave this a lot of thought about where we are. And I recognize that my water bill has doubled in the last 10 years. And if I was to go back 20 years, I don't know how many times it would be. So I think that you have to look at things in that perspective. And the cost of living is like just through the roof. I mean, people can't get apartments even without, $1,800, $2,500. So we were talking about the district wages for the guys, and I was talking about the compensation of the commissioners and the treasurer. And in the wages for the guys, I feel that as the way this department is, you know, I want to put one more thing in perspective. You know, this deal, if this goes through with the, what do you call it, we may have saved $1 million with this, the college deal. We lost $1 million over with this pump station. I mean, look at the flow. That's what I get interested in. These guys come in on these $5 million projects, they hit whatever, and you get a $300,000 change order.
We don't deal in small numbers here.
You don't. So I think we should, you know, we should take some chances on our staff. I think that the change from moving out away from Chutton and letting these guys be on their own, I think it's starting to get better even, because they're starting to get their footing more under them. I mean, it's hard when they talk about whether you've hiked with a guide or whether you hike by yourself. You know, it doesn't seem like anything until you're out there with a couple of kids and you went, yeah, I've hiked this trail 20 times. But, so anyhow, I think that we ought to come to an agreement with all three of us, because there's been things in the past that we haven't all agreed with, and getting rid of Chutton was one of them. And I think we ought to, you know, get a consensus with the board of what we want to look like. Do we want to be leading the industry like Jason does, or do we want to be, you know, doing the same old thing? And the commissioners, it's the same old pay they've gotten for so long. I probably sat at this table the last time 25 years ago. And for the employees, we're dragging along. I would encourage you, take a look at some of the folks, and, you know, take a look at some of the resumes and see what we have and how it compares up with the job description. And, you know, Jason does a good job holding in people, and it's not easy. And I totally understand that. But I think that it would be such a foot up. Imagine if we went to a 4-day week with these guys and took on another laborer or whatever, another position or whatever. I mean, you'd have people who just wouldn't wait for a job to come up in Plymouth. They'd be like, wow, I want to do that. They'd leave other companies for that. So,
well, I mean, there is a process by which we might approach this, correct? I mean, do you want to get more specific and talk about how you would see us, the board, take this on? So,
well, you'd have to do, I mean, you do some kind of a spreadsheet to see what it is. I mean, I would kind of be generous and just say the 4-day, you're gonna get the same check you get now, only you'll be working 4 days, which is a big raise.
well, I mean,
But-
don't you think we should ask Jason whether that's even possible first? I mean, that is,
Well,
that's,
no, that's,
I mean, that's,
I know, that's right, that's good. I didn't know we were talking to him.
right,
That's
well,
fine. This
yeah,
is,
well, I
this
mean-
is like up here, I'm not.
I realize
don't
it's
have
high
all
level,
the-
but at some point, we gotta get more
That's true.
specific about
That's true.
how this,
I'm not so
how-
good at those.
how those changes might happen. I might suggest that we undertake a review process as a starting point, yes.
Yeah.
I think we have to understand what our current wages are. Are they competitive? Are they reasonable, etc. And then come back and armed with that information,
Well, that's hard stuff. Because if you go, well, are they competitive, then you're gonna take other towns about the same size and how much they pay in their guys. I mean, it's an interesting fact, and you should have it. But,
Yeah,
you know.
there's reports out there. I've printed some information on
Oh, I see.
statewide and regional, so
Yeah.
there's information out there. We could pull together something if you'd like.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't hesitate to look at, you know, and also the projections. I mean, I don't know if it's another guy or whatever, but I'm not really talking about that. And I'm not really talking about the commissioner's fee. I'm saying that, what do you want to be? What do we want to look like here? You know, that's like when we come to this beautifying the places, landscaping and planting.
Well, let's
Okay,
stay
no, I'm
with
saying
wages
I'm
first.
saying the same way though, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm not, I don't squeeze numbers out of me and make me say things that I'm just speculating on. I mean, what does it take to make us feel like, wow, what does it take for Kim to put an ad in the paper and they go, wow, water and sewer, that's a great place to work, I've heard about that. And I was thinking, oh, we do have splits in here, so this must be nice and comfortable in the summer.
I don't think it's just wages though, that make it a great place to work, right? It's environment. It's not
Yeah.
just wages. Wages is one component.
Yep, well, that's kind of a...
Culture,
it's-
we've grown a culture here for sure.
Culture is the
Yes,
most important thing. Yeah.
I think,
That's true.
I think that would be worth at least sitting down in a work session maybe and going over what our priorities are, our goals with this, and our, what vision do we have. I think that would be worth it.
That's good.
That'd be great.
Fine. No, I didn't have any big expectations here, to tell the truth. That's,
We have some.
everybody's open to an upgrade, it sounds like that.
Well, I mean, I think it's open for discussion. I mean, we have some months here before our budget process, but we need to be mindful of,
No,
as Jason brought up before, I mean, our payroll is 25% of our operating budget. It's not insignificant.
I know, I'd like to know what that is. I'd be more interested in that than the individual pays. What are other utilities running for payroll to their gross? That's pretty interesting. And I think, that would kind of give us a reflection. You know what I mean?
I think that's one of the things that we have been successful in, being able to recruit some high-level people because of the benefits we offer and the wages we offer, as
Good.
opposed to other systems nearby that I know are struggling very hard. Some of them have been looking close to a year for an
Yeah.
operator position and have no candidates at all.
Hey, if it's on an upward grade, Jason, that's just fine. I mean, I don't want to make something what it isn't.
So I think we need to be fair and equitable to our staff and to our public. So I think we are, Kim and I have been doing a great job at making sure that we are looking out for both the staff and the public.
And you promote and pay for education.
Correct.
I do.
Yeah.
As well as health and retirement benefits.
right.
We're funding that 100%, which is
a fun,
is
it's a nice
significant.
load. It
Yeah, I
is.
think that looking closely, there are a lot of positives there that we have not cut into benefits.
Right, over the last 4 years,
Yeah.
we've provided cost of living increases at or exceeding the regional average, so.
What did you guys do for everybody for COVID, in COVID?
Was it
And all the
2
guys that worked in the
2
front?
years ago, we gave an 8% increase.
Correct.
Wow.
This year we
nice.
had 5%. Before that, I think it was another between 2 and 5%. So it's been, close to 15 to 20% over the last 4 years. We've provided increases.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can I ask about the insurance? It's 100% for the staff or for the individual, but then is that for families too?
Doesn't matter if you're two-person
Whole
or
thing.
single.
Find some place else that does that
There's no
anymore.
place
There
else
is
that
no
does that.
place that does that anymore.
There are a few other water systems that do.
That's what I keep saying.
There might
Jason
be.
keeps
Really?
correcting me, but
Yeah.
But
The federal government
in the
is
rest of the world,
25%.
Right.
it isn't. In business, it isn't.
No, it's going the other way.
Right,
It's
even
absolutely-
in government,
Ship
like
it
the
anyway.
federal government is 25, they pay 75%, you pay 25%. The elementary schools are on 90-10,
Right.
right?
Right, so we're trying to, promote that in a way to our staff too, that
Yeah.
they recognize that value.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if this has come up, whether I've expressed this to everyone in the meeting, but it would be helpful, one thing we can do is show a total benefits. I used to get, in my brief career in corporate, I would get a statement of total benefits that I received beyond, above and
The
beyond.
cost of the company.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
tax and benefits.
yeah, I mean, I think that
Plus
helps.
you got 7% for FICA too.
yeah, in retirement, the whole package.
Yeah,
And that may help us as a board
that's
understand.
great. And
understand.
actually, I think that should be presented whenever an employee comes in and says, what's the rate here? And you give them the sheet showing the whole rate. depends how mature it is, but that's, hey, Jason, that sounds really good. I'd love to see some numbers next time, just, you know, scratch on an envelope or anything. You don't have to do anything big, but that'd be really interesting.
Sure.
I appreciate it. And then go ahead.
Oh, you want to move on to a new topic?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead. To the,
The beautification.
yeah.
I mean, once you know it, I call down here, I say to Kim, hey, put beautifications on the list next time. And next day I drive down here and they're paving out here. And they're spreading loam. And it's what do you call it, the contractor was doing it for us, but probably messed up our yard with all of his big trucks. So, I mean, I felt like, oh my God,
Something's
can
happening.
answers be happen that fast? But anyhow, I think that maybe we could have Jason go around and take some pictures of our facilities. It's funny that when I was here, I had to fight like heck to get shrubs out to the pump station on the highway. And I thought, oh, wouldn't that be great? And I thought, well, maybe you could put them down the hill a little bit so there's no talk about, oh, they get into our pipes and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is that now we got solar. So you don't want trees growing. You got to think about how the solar effect. You're going to spend $20,000 on solar panels. So I don't know what to say, but maybe if you took a picture of each one and put it on the thing, and we had a meeting, we could just tick, 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 tick through, give them a number and an evaluation. And that's what I'd like, you know, how good does this look to you? And just have a number of pump stations and 1 through 10. And then we could just, all of us take it and see what it looks like. Is that a good idea?
My concern is that we have many, many irons in the fire. That is very, very
Well, I don't,
low.
it doesn't have to be
low.
this month.
No,
I'm
but
not
regardless
rush.
when it is, that's very, very low on my idea of what we need to be focusing on personally. I'm just sharing
So
my own
you just
personal
don't, you
opinion.
just don't have any that, well, I'm not gonna go like that. That's good, okay, Bob.
That's my personal opinion.
Well,
So-
we do have a mission statement, which is on our website, which
What's
is,
that say?
well, I mean, it's pretty clearly focused on providing clean and affordable and a
Yes.
good value
Yes.
for both water and sewer to our
That's what we're supposed to do.
ratepayers.
Does it
So,
say anything about being a community neighbor?
I don't think so. I don't recall it precisely,
Well, maybe
but
we should look at our mission statement.
Well-
That would spur some of these to talk.
there you go. So, you know, entertaining these exercises, I think is fine, but, you know, as far as what they might cost, you know, I mean, that's gonna be a concern, I think, should be a concern.
Well, of course it's a concern. Yeah.
My other concern is that I don't know how many hours you guys are putting in, but you're putting in more than an average work week. I'm 100% certain of that. For you to be running around taking pictures, doing other stuff instead of doing the stuff that needs to be done is not using your time and what we're paying you to do wisely. And that's one of my concern, is that we need to focus on getting the things done that need to be done on a regular basis. Maybe you can push this down the road or whatever, but
Well, I mean, there's also an argument that if you want to take on something that's a little bit outside of our scope, that, you know, maybe the commissioner should be taking the photographs. I mean, I'm not averse to doing that myself, but, you know, I think Bob's point is well taken, is that
Well,
if anything, Jason needs an assistant, not
I
not
mean,
additional
they're not
work.
gonna be photoshopped. Jason.
All right.
Jason's looking it up right now.
Okay, go on to the next subject there, we get the idea.
Kim, business manager items.
I think we lead right into it, that Jason and I have discussed, and we do feel that we need to have some additional staff in the office. You know, Jason can't always be inputting those payroll numbers with his due tos and his due froms. And so we
And
have,
I'm amazed at the number of times I've come by here or driven by and seen that you're here, so, yeah, I know.
Yes.
yeah, and we know with the construction projects and all of the things we've got on our plates, I think at least a part-time person would be great, and maybe somebody with some accounting experience so that they could better put in all those do-tos and do-froms properly. You know, the accountant said we're doing a great job, and the auditors, but, you know, I could use some extra help. I know Regina's plate is very full, and she's doing a great job, but I don't want to overload her.
Just
you know.
don't burn her out,
Right.
please.
So-
If you're working 50, 60 hours a week every week, that's not sustainable.
Right, so I think we need to do something. So we did put an ad into New Hampshire Municipal Association this week. We haven't had any interest quite yet, but it was only one Monday. We did learn, though, by going on the site, that the town is also seeking a financial person. And I reached out to Ann Abear, Jason reached out to Scott, and we talked about whether, you know, someday maybe we could do some sort of a shared financial person. You know, they're looking at maybe 32 hours, we're looking at maybe 16 hours. You know, we're not, both of us are unsure right now what exactly we need, but we're open to some possibility, and they both seemed very open to it, and they seemed open to share applicants if somebody didn't need the same hours as what they're looking for, but might fit our bill, they're willing to share.
A full-time person might be much more attractive.
Yep.
Right, so we didn't want to foreclose a full-time person if
Right.
we're only looking for a part-time.
Yeah.
So if there's an opportunity to share, that would be a win-win.
Right.
So,
I love thinking outside the box. That's where things happen. That's where the
So-
best stuff
The
comes.
wages that you listed the position for, did you have a,
I
Something in the
haven't,
app?
we don't usually list specific, but, you know, to be determined with experience, you know, so.
okay. 'Cause that sometimes can, I think, you know, right now it's very competitive for administrative
Absolutely.
assistants.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep, I just wanted to update you that we did move forward with that.
Good, yeah, I think that's a wise move.
Okay, great.
Jason, you have no doubt some items on your list.
yep. So we have, right, so we have, since I think Kim sent most of the updates in the Monday report, yesterday, not knowing if we were having the meeting today or not, so I don't want to repeat everything and take up everyone's
Yeah,
time, but just to hit on some of the more recent items. This morning, we had a construction meeting with DOT and the town and our engineers, and that went very well. The progress on South Main Street on the town's portion is being worked through right now. They anticipate being through the digging up portion of the road all the way up to Highland Street by Friday. So that will be dug up and put back with dirt right now, and then possibly getting a binder pavement within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
This is before the box comes down, before the new box comes down? Or is it,
No, this is the box.
this is it, that's
Yeah.
in it? And so how deep down is the drainage?
The drainage is anywhere from 2 to 6 feet deep. Yep. So that we had to make some accommodations on the south end of town to actually bring the water services under the drainage 6 feet deep. So some of our services are a little bit deeper than that. But
Yeah.
we worked with DOT to come up with an alternative roadway profile, something that can satisfy the needs of the roadway, put it back in a much better condition than what it was and what we were originally proposing. So we've come to an agreement with that, and we'll be saving about 40% of the gravels that we anticipated pulling out will not have to be pulled out now.
So what's the composite of the
So-
road gonna be?
So we're looking at what's there now is from the circle roundabout to Port Street. That section of roadway had the concrete pulled back in 2005.
Yeah,
And so that DOT put back 12 inches of gravels and 4 inches of pavement there.
for 12 inches of different gravels, 8 inches and 12 inches and 4 inches of fine.
Nope, just 12 inches of, I think it was all 3044 fine gravels.
Oh, okay.
And then they put 4 inches of asphalt down on top of that. So we went up to them and asked them, you know, can we leave that gravel there since it was 2005 vintage? and they concurred that that would be appropriate. And the biggest thing is they wanted consistency throughout the road. So we said, instead of diving deeper like the original proposal was, can we install 10 inches of gravel throughout the section and install 6 inches of pavement, which will give them a little bit better product at the end and have the consistency there with the gravels. So from Court Street to Highland, we have 4 inches of asphalt, 8 inches of concrete, and then so there you have 12 inches right there. And if we're going total depth of 16 inches, we only have to pull out another 4 inches of gravel within that section.
And they give you credit for the concrete in there?
Yep.
Look,
So
6 inches.
So we only have to really skim off 2 inches of gravel from the circle to Court Street to make that depth, and 4 inches for the rest of the way. Whereas previously, under the original proposal, we would have to dig 20 inches deep, and that would cost a lot more. To dispose of that, the engineers were estimating in the range of $600,000 to $800,000. I know the town has executed a change order for, I believe, up to $500,000 for that gravel.
Why is it that expensive just to get rid of gravel?
Because it has to go to a special facility.
Oh, because it may be.
Because it exceeds the soil remediation standards under some sections. So that's part of it, is that the compounds that have been tested and exceeded the soil remediation standards, our consultant has indicated that these contaminants are actually background contaminants, because they were found throughout the entire roadway section of Main Street, not just a particular site, which was the original concern, that there was contamination at certain sites. So there was no contamination found within the district's portion of the roadway project at certain sites. It was just this background contaminant that's common with asphalt. It's essentially found in asphalt. So if there's any asphalt, if a bit of asphalt gets in the soil,
leaching through
it's going to come up hot.
Wow.
So what does this do to us financially on the project? Is it a plus or a minus?
It is a plus, but not as much of a plus as the 600 to 800,000.
Okay,
So
that's
the additional asphalt layer that we will be putting down will cost about $100,000.
okay.
As compared to the 600,000 to 800,000 to remove all that gravel.
Okay.
And that product, that 6 inches of product, will hopefully alleviate some of the wheel rutting that we see within that section of roadway.
Yep.
And then also allow DOT not to have to retreat it after 5 or 10 years. They think that this product will last to about 15 years, so we won't have to come back, adjust structures if they put a shim overlay or anything like that on.
Hey, they mix recycled gravel into recycled glass into the asphalt.
Not in the products that we're using.
Yeah, you heard they do that though.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, and cement, I think too, they might be able to.
But DOT had very specific requirements for their roadway.
That you're allowed to repair.
So that's the gist of the Main Street project. We're still going through the submittals on the well project. The contractor has communicated to us that they will be mobilizing on site before the end of this month and starting some of that work over there. We're starting to get in the first pay requisition from D-Police coming up probably within the next couple of weeks. So here we go.
Here we go.
Right. Here we go
So
spending again.
when does the state shut off? Now that we're starting to put out?
June 7th is their cutoff.
June 7th, so
yeah.
we want to get
Short
it.
window.
Yeah, we want to get it in as soon as we can so we can get it right
Yes,
back out.
We've
Yes.
communicated that to Wright
that,
Pierce,
yeah.
and they got us in a disbursement request round this past week, which I believe Chris signed off on. So we got that in. We have to have a 1 month separation between requests, and we said that'll sneak us right in before that June 7th timeframe.
What's that
Yeah.
June 7th round you talk about?
The state of New Hampshire shuts off sending any money back, even if they owe it to you.
They shut down their fiscal year
They
and
sit down their
audit.
fiscal year and they don't send
There's
money.
that lag.
They don't, so if you don't spend your budget, then that's it.
Well,
They will,
it's
but there's a
frozen.
lag,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Which it starts back
Right,
in what,
right.
August,
It
September?
comes back in
Mid-August.
mid-August.
So we would
Yeah.
have to float that.
So we'd have to float that money. That's
That
been my
will be-
worry all along.
That will be a major construction season during those couple months,
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We'll have a
There'll be
lot of
some
money going
large-
out.
Yeah.
You don't look like you lose a lot of sleep, Bob.
Got 2 hours last night. I did well.
Wow.
Oh, for crying out
We
loud.
We've
did a little better
communicated to
than
Wright
that.
Pierce as well and DeFelice that we are concerned about that and that, you know, if we get a June and July pay rec of $1 million apiece, we may hold on to some of that until the state reopens their disbursement program.
Right.
Yep,
And they understood that
they did.
because it happens all the time.
Yep,
I'm sure, yeah.
I feel a little better.
yep.
Oh, that's great, Jason.
Yeah, that's the thing, we don't have the capacity to be floating, you know, a couple $1 million over several months. We need to make sure that we get reimbursed. The state is aware of that too.
I'm sure. And neither do your contractors, I'm sure.
Yes. Yep. And that's what we want to do, is we want to pay them and whoever our other vendors are as quickly and as efficiently as possible, so,
Great.
yep.
Anything else?
That's all I have for this
Okay,
evening.
very good, thank you. To wrap up most things here, we need a motion, please, for, just to enter the purchase recs into the record.
Yep.
You need,
I'll make the motion that we enter the purchase requisitions into the,
are you gonna read the amounts?
Do we have a list?
Right.
Is this right here?
You want to read
limited,
the list,
yeah.
Tom?
Short list this week. So this would be TI sales for $1,344.04, and then malt sales for various supplies there, $311.04 for a total of $1655.08.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Public comment? No public?
No public this evening.
Okay. Next meeting is June 11th, 2024 at 5 p.m. And at this point in time at 5:40, we are going to enter into non-public session by RSA 91-A3, Section 2A regarding personnel. We should have a roll call vote for that. I, Chris Woods.
Tom
Aye, Stephanie Halter.
McLaughlin.